Hi, my fabulous artists. Boy, have I been missing you. I'm coming to you today from my backyard because it's a beautiful day and I wanted to get outside for a little bit. I hope you've been getting a chance to do that too. Let's get started with our first art project. I know we can't be together, but we can still create beautiful things, so let's do it. Now's the time of year when thoughts turn to gardening, and maybe you're planting a garden with your family as well. My friends in St. Louis are all eager to get started. It's warmer there than here, and they're talking about what plants they're going to plant and all the things they have to do. And it made me think of all the little creatures that live in the gardens that we plant. Here's one of them. Here's Mr. Snail, a beautiful creature who carries his home on his back. His shell has a nice spiral in it, and he has those beautiful little antennae. Let's make him the focus of our next project. Okay, artists, get ready with your supplies. Pull out the papers that were provided for you in your packet and add a water and brush, markers, crayons, scissors, pencil, and eraser. Right now, we're just going to need the coffee filter, the markers, and the water and the brush. We're going to start with these. Are you ready? Good. Step one is to color the coffee filter with nice bright patches of color. Color everywhere and avoid black, brown, and gray. The next step is to take some nice clear water, dab your brush and scrape it, and just pat the water onto the filter, nice and gentle. Don't use brush strokes and try to paint across the different areas of color. Just lay your brush down and tap, tap, tap the water on. Now it's important that you have newspaper or some other kind of scrap paper underneath your coffee filter at this time, because these colors will bleed through onto the table and they're very difficult to get off. When you're finished painting your coffee filter with those beautiful rainbow colors, it's time to set it aside and let it dry. Now let's start working on the body of that snail. Okay, here's what's next. You need the colored strip of paper that came in your packet. You also need your pencil and eraser, and we're getting ready to draw our snail's body. So I want you to start up in this corner, the top right corner, and to really touching the edges, draw a nice oval. I'm pressing hard. I hope you can see. You can always erase if it's not the kind of oval you want. I'm going to take from this edge of that oval, and I'm going to start bumping along the bottom line of the paper, and I'm going to go to the end. This paper is just the right size for your shell of your snail. Now we're going to start here, and we're going to kind of follow along, and we're going to add the top. The next step, right here, we have a chin, and we want to erase that line so that his head flows into the body. Now, the other thing I want you to remember, you're probably saying, wait, he doesn't have those cool antennae. We're going to add those at the end. So let's just start out with our oval and then his curvy body all the way to the end of the strip. Fill the paper. Good job. Okay. It's time to add some eyes to our snail, and you can see here I've explored with several different kinds of eyes. I cut them out of white paper and I used a black Sharpie or a black marker to draw different kinds of eyes. Now the one that's on him right now makes him look a little frightened. And you can also position these eyes. Here I used half circles to make him look like he's looking in a certain direction. And you can even, make it appear as if he's a little silly, yes. Or you could just do the regular old traditional eyes, putting them close together, that's one look, or putting them far apart. So experiment with what kind of eyes you want on your snail and then glue them down with a glue stick. After you're done, then you're going to want to add some eyebrows maybe. Oh, I know, snails probably don't really have eyebrows. They don't have noses either, but I'm going to put one anyway. And then I'm going to give my guy a really big smile. How about you? So experiment with eyes, glue them on, add the eyebrows, nose if you want it, and a nice big smile. Okay, now I'm ready to add some pattern. And so I'm going to start off with some little hairy hairs type pattern, hairy hairs repeated. And then I'm going to switch colors and do a wavy line. Then I'm going to repeat. You know, God loves pattern, and you see it everywhere in nature. We got the idea for adding pattern to things from the ultimate artist, God. And so what I'd like you to do now is decide on a pattern and fill your snail's body with it. You may remember when we studied pattern, we talked about the different types, and this would be a what? A, B. That's right. So now let's add pattern to your snail all the way to the tip of his tail, and when you're finished, it'll be time to cut him out. So do a really good job staying on the lines and get that done, shall we? Pattern, cut him out. Good news, artist friends. We're getting close to putting all of our pieces together. And by now you have let your filter dry and it has set out. You can also use a blow dryer if you want to speed the process along. And you can see on this one, I've already added that really cool spiral that snail shells have. They're a very cool design. So let's do it on this one, and I'll show you how that's done. Put a dot right in the middle, and then start weaving around here in a circle. And we're going to keep our lines evenly apart if we can. And we're just going to keep going around and around, and we're going to widen. Every time we go around, we're getting bigger. We are getting that spiral in. Our snail shell is taking place. These coffee filters are kind of hard to hold on to, so bear with me. And I'm almost done, and I'm going to let it go right off the edge. So now I have my snail shell done, and I kind of going to go with, I think, my more vibrant colors here. So here's what's next. You kind of fold under to make one edge kind of flat. Now what I would do is kind of trim it off. You don't have to, I suppose, but I'm going to trim right on my fold line. And I know then I'll be ready to start putting my picture together. All right. And you can see what happened. My Sharpie bled through on my paper. I should know better, shouldn't I? Flip that over. Now I'm going to decide where I want my snail shell or my snail to be. So I could put it over to this side. I could put it over to this side. Either way, if your body is facing this way, we probably should put it to the left, leaving enough room for the tail. Not quite. So I'm going to move it over. Yeah, that looks about right. So I'm going to move this away. And I'm just going to put a little mark here so I know where I want it to be. And then I'm going to take my glue stick on a placemat or something safe to work on, and I am going to just go around the very edges of my coffee filter. I should say my snail shell. And all the way around, right on the edge. And then I'm going to place it where I kind of decided, not too far over, got to leave room for the snail tail. And I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to repeat, and I'm going to rub glue all around. Now I'm not going to work on top of my artwork because I might get glue on it. But I'm going to cover the edges with glue. Woo! Use a placemat in case you go off the edge. I have cardboard here underneath. And then I'm going to put my snail with his shell. Wow. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take my fantastic blue marker and I'm going to add those really cool antennae. Got to have that, right? It kind of completes him. And there he is. There he is. It's a little rough, but you get the picture. Yeah. Ooh, let's make that a little... Oh, there he is. He looks sharp. Now to finish this up, I'm going to take my crayons and I am going to start with 2 colors of green, a light and a dark. The 2-color rule in nature, you know, if you look at anything in nature that God has created, it's not just one flat color. It's lights and darks, mediums, and I'm just going to kind of draw a really light line where I want the ground to be. And I'm going to start adding some really tall grass. And I'm going to do a section at a time. I'm doing just big, bold lines. And I'm going to let them come right underneath. And then after I do one small section, I'm going to add the light color in between. Yeah, that really looks good. I'm going to get down here at the bottom because I want my grass to go to the bottom of the page, right? There we go. There we go. And I'm going to fill that in all the way across the bottom. I might have fun here and there and add something pretty. Color in my circle. And maybe add some cool petals. Even if they go off the page, quite all right. The star of this show is the snail, so we want him to be front and center, and everything can be kind of around him. That looks kind of good. Oh, I need one more. And maybe a leaf. Oh, yeah. Top this off, maybe, with a cloud or two. Really hard to see the white crayon. But I would just color my clouds in here, as you can see. Well, as you can't see. I'll show you in a little bit. And then kind of add my circle. Put a fence around it. There's my circle. And then fill it in. Get all that space filled in. I'm going to get my yellow. There we go. My sun's really starting to take shape. And then I'm going to add my rays. And this, ladies and gentlemen, looks pretty sharp. So here's how our finished project turned out. Oh, that snail looks so great in his garden, happy and jolly. Just like I hope you are right now when you look at your work and feel the pride that comes from creating something beautiful. So congratulations, we made it through our first lesson together. There'll be a new one next week. Remember, you don't have to finish this all in one sitting, and do your very, very best so that you're proud to hang it up and say, this is my work. So we'll see you next week. Keep creating. Love y'all. Bye.